Hi everyone, let's paint together today this beautiful, easy, simple, beginner-friendly 15 centimeters mandala April blush. Really simple, all materials in description box below this video, so let's start it. First of all, we obviously need to find the center. I will link video how you can do this, and we making every 15 degrees lines and circles every 1 centimeters. I'm making a little bit speeding up because it's not so long process, but it doesn't matter. We don't need to waste your time during this video. So every 1 centimeter circles. And after that, we are starting. So the center I will do with the bright one, Teaberry. I'm not sure how to read the name, but it looks like it's Teaberry. Anyways, all materials in description you can find online, I believe, definitely. You can buy it. So I'm making, you can come back a couple of times with more and more paint, like make it really visible. And if you want to correct a little bit this dot, you just use thin tool. And with the same color, I will do row of dots. But starting a little bit not too close to this one, so leave some space. And I will place this on a second circle line. As you see, I'm putting this on a cross and leaving between these dots 2 lines. So every third line in this case. You can see this on a video. It's the same color as we used for the central dot. With a smaller tool, I will walk around this first row of dots in this case. So the color is coral shell, and with a big tool, as you see on the video, creating a little bit bigger dot on the top of these dots. And after that, with a smaller one, I'm walking around with the same color. And I'm walking around obviously towards central dot. But because we left enough space, this looks really gentle, really beautiful. You can see this on the video. Don't rush, take your time, carefully walk around with the dots. And remember, after all, you're removing all marks. So for now, obviously this white color looks really bright, but when we will remove this will be giving like in central part a really deep, and these dots that we're creating right now will be really visible. Like that. Moving forward. You can leave it to dry out before you're moving forward if you worry to mess up a little bit with these dots. Small brush, really small, not too expensive, really small that you can find. And I'm creating these 2 small marks, as you see, between this line and next one. And just slowly moving around, create these nice small strokes. I'm not connecting the beginning of the strokes. It's really nice when these strokes are separating from each other when you are looking at when you're finishing your mandala. So just small tip for you. Make it really close, but not too close to each other. And like that, really, we didn't make too many moves, as you see, but at the same time, we already like created half of our mandala. Obviously, it's not a half, but you know what I mean. Like that. And I like combination of this color. It's not too bright, but still really warm and bright. So let's move forward. I'm placing small dots, as you see on the video, with our Teaberry color. In my case, it's created on a line, on a cross between circle and straight line. But in your case, it could be a little bit different. So just on the top of our strokes, not touching the strokes. You can add a little bit more paint if you want to make your dots more pop out from the surface. Like that. Going back to the same small brush. And in this particular case, because surface really small, you maybe not need even bigger brush at all. Making two marks in the center of these spaces, as you see on video, and with coral shell, I'm moving around. You see, I'm creating the strokes kind of a little bit open, not the classic one. So definitely this is like something unusual, but that's why we are creating, to go with our inspiration. So I'm starting in the middle of this space between circle lines and straight lines. It's difficult to explain, but I believe you see on the video. And again, I'm moving to with the strokes towards the central stroke, but I'm really close, but no, I'm not touching central one. So I'm releasing brush at the end. Like that. Close, but releasing brush. Like that. And now we got interesting space between these flowers. So technically we can move forward on top of these flowers or between them. And I believe it's between, kind of working better in this case. We got enough space so we can place more strokes around. Let's do this way. So I will create the central part of our flowers on the between these lines. And the color, I will use the same as we used for the central dot, so our Teaberry color. Just classic dot in this space between second and third line at from the edge, like that. And now we can move around this and create a little bit bigger flowers. And pay more attention how it looks between the flowers, also to work with the space on your mandala. So the same way with coral shell, I'm creating 3 dots on the top. So it's easier to start with 2. As usual, we are placing these 2 and third one on the top as close as you can, but not touching each other, like that. Really nice. Like that. And now our base is ready, so we can move around. If you find any bubbles, remove this. I'm doing this with the needle. So let's play around this. With a small tool, I will walk around the same way toward this space between previous row of flowers. Like that. Again, take your time, don't rush. Remember, these light dots will be pretty visible on your mandala. I'm telling you this not only to you but to myself, because yes, you are usually rushing, you can do this and just like missing some spots. Like that. And the last one. And now we're coming back to the brushes to create more strokes. Again, if you worry to mess up, wait until this totally dry out. The same small brush. Again, we can start from the bottom or from the top, your choice, but I decided to go with this one. And I'm moving around with coral blush color and creating really nice strokes. Pressing at the beginning of the stroke and releasing at the end. And again, I'm not touching brush at the end. I'm going between the strokes but releasing before this touching the end, like that. You can use this as example and go with your flow. Maybe you wanna create another color or another shape of strokes. So don't worry about that. Use this as example and create your own art. Like that. And we are playing between these spots. And you can again create this different way, different strokes. And obviously, don't worry about that too much. I will use the same coral Teaberry, color, and open again, creating like kind of open strokes. I like to play with this, especially with if I'm really creating like flowers, because you know in nature flowers and petals like opening flower. So why we can't create this on our art? And this way sometimes really handy to play with the space. Like that. Interestingly enough, central strokes, previous flower is really bright because they are lighter. Still really bright. Like that. And finishing playing between these flowers, let's add a little bit more strokes. We can't combine the same colors, so we need to play with contrast colors. Because I'm using only 3 this time, I need to be careful. So let's go with our coral blush. I'm starting it a little bit lower, as you see, and I'm creating really small strokes. So I'm pressing and releasing. I'm not going down these lighter strokes. Again, recreating petals like on real flowers. I believe nature given us so many examples how we can play with this and use for our own art. Like that. And a little bit more space left. And we can make a little bit more petals. We can go different ways over there. I'm decided to go with our coral shell color and just 2 strokes like that. But not touching previous one because it's also the same color. So really close to each other, but not touching. And now you see, because it's also light, obviously it's the same color, and this now our attention drawn to the another part of our mandala. Like that. When it's dry out, I will add more details to highlight these zones. Like that. And again, we got more space, so let's do the same. Again, I'm creating just 2 strokes, the same color, coral shell. And yes, end of the strokes are touching each other. That's why at the end, when everything dry out, I want to separate this with more details on the top. But for me, it's definitely working with such a small mandala, really easy to recreate for beginner, and just train yourself and create really nice, beautiful mandala like that. So we can play more with 3D drops, obviously, but we need to wait until everything dry out. Just add a little bit more dots over there with Teaberry color. Or you can also use coral blush. So I choose the color a little bit brighter. Obviously, we're doing all these 3 colors. So brighter than this coral shell that we just created. And over there. Over there, I'm using coral blush. Small details, but all details are giving the total expression, impression when it's finished. I wait until everything dry out, and after that we can come back and create more details. So everything dry out, so now we can play with 3D drops. I will add in description box below what exactly I'm using, but you can use any light color that you found. I believe a coral, beige, white obviously will be better. You can, this is caramel color or milky colors or like shiny something. I will use, it is a little bit even like yellowish, goldish. I will use white one because I wanna make it a little bit brighter. Obviously big one in the center. You can move this 3D drop around with a needle or thin tool, but I'm leaving the borders of basic color obviously, so this will be still visible for your eyes that the base was not the black, but in this case Teaberry color. And add more details, small drops over there. On the top of our base for these flowers, just drops. Pretty simple. And with the needle you can do the tails towards the center. I want to leave it like that. It's like really nice looks. Small on the top over there, also on the top of dots we just created with the paint. Over there. And you see how this our mandala is playing now with 3D drops. Again, with the thin tool you can make tails towards the center. And I'm playing with this space. I'm adding two from both sides. And in this case, with a needle, I will create small tails to make it like kind of like a strokes, but from the 3D drops. Like that. You can add more details how you feel it. I'm literally leaving some spaces for you if you want to add something and create your own art. And over there, let's put something on the top of these strokes. You can play with colors in this case, or 3D drops. I'm putting small dots with Teaberry color to show line between the strokes. And with the same tool, I decided to go with thin smooshes on the top, only on this closer to the edge ones, like that. Small details, but really changing in your impression when you're looking at mandala. And a little bit more details with 3D drops on these inner parts, really small ones. You can leave it like that, or with a needle create strokes. Or let's call it smooshes. Like that. Hope you enjoyed your painting. In the description box below this video you can find links to my Etsy shop, to Patreon page when I'm painting bigger pieces now. And see you on next video. Bye!